Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Matt, and welcome to Le Mans Ultimate in honors of the 24 Hours of Le Mans happening this weekend. While I was watching the various game showcases this last weekend, the one that I want to focus on here today is primarily the Xbox showcase. And I had watched it entirely all the way through because I was hoping at some point we would have seen a release announcement for Forza Horizon 6. It didn't technically come. Maybe it's Forza World or another Forza Motorsport, or maybe it is Forza Horizon 6. Maybe that's coming next year. But the thing that really caught my eye, that really made the showcase worth it in my mind, was the fact that Xbox for a number of years has been rumored to be exiting the home console segment of the market, and is going to be starting to work in partnerships with multiple third-party developers on making PC-styled handheld consoles. And in my mind, that's sick. I've got a Steam Deck, I've been loving it just to bits, and I would love to see what a handheld Xbox looks like. And it turns out this Xbox showcase, sure enough, gets us a proper view of what that is going to look like. Introducing the ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X. So let's get into this on why I'm incredibly excited on this, and why, in my mind, you guys should be too. So starting out, taking a look at the specs, it is, in a lot of cases, not that far off from the Steam Deck. So the Steam Deck has got an AMD Ryzen Zen 2 processor. Of course, it is worked in development with Valve itself to have a couple of additional features on it that the standard Zen 2 processor normally wouldn't have. But it looks like that the standard Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X will be using an AMD Ryzen Zen 2A processor, and of course the Ally X is going to be using the Zen 2 AI Extreme processor. So it seems like that on the normal Xbox ROG Ally is going to be fairly similar to the Steam Deck on the standpoint that it's also going to be using LPDDR5X 16 gigs of RAM. So both of those together, I think the weight is going to be like 670 grams versus the Steam Deck 640, I want to say. So already, like, comparable is more or less the point that I'm getting at. Steam Deck has a 50-watt-hour battery in it, and the standard ROG Xbox Ally has a 65-watt-hour battery in it. So a little bit of an improvement there. But the biggest improvement, of course, is the screen. So instead of I don't even know what to call it, it's the 1280 by 800. I'm not sure why Valve didn't decide to just stick with the standard 720p screen, and why they had to go to that weird resolution that not many games are scaled well for. It's beyond me, but the ROG Xbox Ally and ROG Xbox Ally X both are using a 1080p IPS 7-inch 900 nit screen that runs at 120 frames, or rather it's 120 hertz, excuse me. The best that the Steam Deck has is the OLED version that is able to go up to 90 hertz. And given that the processor really was not upgraded, you're not getting a lot of games that are able to really utilize that full 90 hertz, 90 frames a second. So the interest that I've got here is, it appears that given the fact that the processor is the same as the Steam Deck, the battery is a little bit larger, the RAM is the same, but they have a 1080p screen. It seems like Xbox is really gearing towards running AAA games at 720p. for the standard ROG Xbox Ally. What gets interesting is that the Ally X, the higher performance version, if you will, given the fact that it's got that upgraded Zen 2 Extreme processor, which is going to be a massive improvement, it's also running 24 gigs of LPDDR5X 6400 RAM. So that's going to be a very large improvement for the higher end version. So the interesting thought process that I've got is I am interested in getting either the standard version so we can have more of a side-by-side comparison with the Steam Deck, or I kind of also want to get the X version from the standpoint that it's future-proofing, because that processor on a lot of AAA games kind of needs a little oomph, and I think the Extreme version is going to be exactly what we're looking for as far as that's concerned. So the next part that has got me this is why I'm making this video, is this point right here. Is just 2 weeks ago, I made a video on why I really don't recommend putting Windows on the Steam Deck. Like I was saying, the Steam Deck, you need to be running SteamOS to really take full usage of that processor. It streamlines the fact that there are just very few processes running in the background to make sure that the game is running. So pretty much 100% of the CPU and GPU are being focused on running the game. And that can't be said the same for Windows, unfortunately. So when I saw that Xbox was talking about this handheld, I'm like, okay, so it's going to be running Windows. Great. We know that. So the thing that's nice about it is, okay, so it's going to make compatibility to work on pretty much 100% of games, which I'm quite happy about. What I was interested in is how are they going to deal with the fact that Windows is an incredibly bloated operating system? How are they going to deal with the fact that, you know, when you're running a game on a handheld, it doesn't have the beefiest processor or GPU, and it needs to just be focused on running the game? Well, their response to that is, when you boot up this console, it runs a streamlined version of the Xbox app. Yes, it is technically running Windows in the background, but it is really streamlining the Xbox app itself, which means is that all these random window processes going on in the background just really isn't happening. And that is exactly what I was wanting to see. Because, again, if you're running a full version of Windows in the background, it's going to drain your battery life like nobody's business. So it's like, you can't really have a good Windows handheld on the go because you're always needing to be near an outlet. Furthermore, the interesting question that a lot of people have raised is, so that's just for games that are running through the Xbox app. Because it is a PC handheld, one would imagine that you're able to add Steam, EA Play, Battle.net. So how is that going to work? And as of right now, we don't necessarily have a clear-cut answer, but a lot of people are interested in, if you add these third-party launchers, what happens is, does it just open up Windows and then open up the third-party launcher? Because if that's the case, then all those processes that you don't want running in the background are now there. So the hope is that Microsoft and its infinite wealth and infinite power are able to work with these third-party launchers, Steam, EA, Battle.net, and say, hey, let's play ball here. Let's make a version of your app that is streamlined for this Xbox OS, if you will. Because this is just the first one of what I imagine is many products. It's been rumored for years that they're not working with just one third party. They're probably working with Lenovo, ANEO, MSI, because all of those are running Windows-based handheld consoles. So it would be kind of dumb for Microsoft to not be in partnership with them, because they've already got the product. They were just slapping the Xbox name of the Xbox OS in the middle of it, and that just makes it that much better, actually. So, in all honesty, the thing that, going back to 2 weeks ago, that I've been struggling with is I want to play a handful of games. I don't need my entire Steam library on this handheld console. I really only want Forza Horizon 3, Le Mans Ultimate, the Crew Motorfest, and the F1 franchise, so, you know, F1 25. And that's going to get me to about 512 gigs of storage in the base ROG Xbox Ally. So in all honesty, that being said, going back to my earlier point, that might be more where I'm going to come from, is going that direction. But what really caught my eye that I don't think a lot of people are really talking about is that when you look under the specs, storage is 512 gigabytes of M.2 SSD for the standard ROG Xbox Ally, and then of course 1 terabyte M.2 for the Xbox Ally X. What people aren't talking about is what form factor the SSD is, and it's the 2280. Now I think this is incredibly important for one particular reason, and that's capacity. A lot of people know that with the Steam Deck, they kind of, I'm not going to say modernized or popularized the 2242 SSD. It's the fact that, for what I'm aware of, because it's so small, they can only cram currently 2 terabytes on it. So if you're opening up this handheld console to being able to use the 2280 M.2 SSD form factor, which is standard with the other ROG Allies, one would imagine that hot swapping it to, let's say, God forbid, an 8 terabyte M.2 drive is potentially possible. Of course, that is probably not going to be the case. There will probably be a limitation within the motherboard, the drivers, the controllers, something that'll say the maximum you can upgrade it to is probably 2 terabytes, because that's kind of the case with the Steam Deck one at the very least. If we're lucky, 4 terabytes, but I am absolutely not expecting the full 8 terabytes. It would be amazing, because if I could get a full 8 terabytes and then a 1 terabyte micro SD card shoved in the top, I would be able to download probably about 95% of my Steam library right then and there. So when we finally see it out on shelves where we can finally buy it, I would love to see what the full tech teardowns are saying, where it's like, okay, what kind of true capacity can we upgrade this to? Because if it is 4 terabytes, I'm slapping that thing in. If it's 8 terabytes, oh god, we are now doubling the cost of a console just to add that in. But I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but these couple of things have really, really got me excited. I genuinely, going back a little bit, like I was saying before, there was some interest in the ROG Ally. There was some interest in the Lenovo Legion Go. There was some interest in the MSI Claw. But in my mind, the fact that Windows 11 is running in its full version in the background with the respective prices that they're at, I have a really hard time. I know for a fact that the ROG Xbox Ally X and the Xbox Ally are probably going to be about the same price, if not more, than the current ROG Ally, which is $700 to $800. I imagine that our range would probably be anywhere between $800 and $1,000. So probably 800 for the ROG Xbox Ally, and if we're lucky, why are my tires just not working today? Jesus Christ. If we're incredibly lucky, we're going to be seeing the ROG Xbox Ally X at 900 bucks. Most likely is going to be at $1,000 because that thing's got a lot of stuff jam-packed into it. So that's the one thing that is just really making me a little bit sad is I don't think that it's gonna look too good on that front. I think the price is just gonna be crazy. So I imagine that there will be some good comparisons with the standard ROG Xbox Ally to the Steam Deck, but keep in mind, even still with the normal Steam Deck, it is incredible value for money. The fact that Valve is able to use its storefront to subsidize the console and make it cheaper and use the revenue from the storefront to be able to slice off a significant amount of money off of their handheld console just makes that console incredible value for money, because there is no other company that can get even anywhere close to it, because as we're seeing, the MSI Claw I think is 700 bucks, the Lenovo Legion Go is 700 bucks, the ROG Ally is 700 bucks. They just can't break that barrier and go anywhere closer. And of course we're seeing the 256 gigabyte version of the LCD Steam Deck be like 400 bucks. That's nuts. So, long story short, there is not going to be a PC handheld that will be competitive enough to beat the Steam Deck's price, for sure. Regardless, though, I'm seeing a very bright future for the handheld market, for the fact of the matter that Xbox is getting in, and they're able to really just streamline Windows for the first time. It's the first time I've seen Microsoft really want to take this to the next level and say, okay, we're serious about handhelds now. We're taking our operating system and we're finally de-bloating it, which is the thing that they've needed to forever. So yeah, like I said, I am stupid excited for this thing. Let me know down in the comments if you guys are excited for it, if you guys are thinking that it's just going to be another overpriced, another over-bloated PC handheld that we've already seen from the likes of ROG, from the likes of MSI and Lenovo. Yeah, this is definitely something I want to explore a little bit further. So like I said, let me know what you're all thinking down in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I definitely want to talk about more of this in the future. So again, thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you have a great day today. Take care. Bye.